The challenges of defending Canada's vast Arctic waters and shoreline is once again in the news. A startling headline and subhead in a recent National Post story read as follows: Canada's top sailor says he's sure we could stop Russia or China from trespassing in Arctic. The country's new Arctic and offshore patrol ships only carry a 25mm cannon, but Canada's top sailor says that could quickly be supplemented with other weapons. It is time to target the accuracy of the Admiral's claim and look at how Canada's diminutive Navy could thwart these two nuclear-armed superpowers in a military standoff in the far north. My initial reaction to the National Post headline was to presume that this was some sort of clickbait gimmick to lure in astounded readers. However, Vice Admiral Angus Topshee, the commander of the Royal Canadian Navy, did indeed tell the National Post that he is confident the RCN could stop Russia or China from transiting through the Northwest Passage without official permission. Topshee is so confident, in fact, that he believes Canada could do it solo. "We wouldn't need the Allies to come to our aid, we could deal with it ourselves," said Topshee. "We have the capacity to deploy our ships up there right now to stop them," he said. There's a lot to digest from Topshee's claim, and at first glance it would seem ludicrous to think we could deter the Russian or Chinese navies with a 7,000-ton Arctic and offshore patrol ship, AOPS, which mounts a single 25mm cannon. I believe what Topshee is suggesting is that with the AOPS, Canada could potentially meet presence with presence to confront any Russian or Chinese naval incursion into our waters. If it evolved into a hostile engagement, we would be toast. It also needs to be clarified that the AOPS, despite having the word Arctic in the name, have only a limited ice-breaking capability. While the AOPS can operate in ice up to 1.5 meters thick, the heavy Russian and Chinese icebreakers can handle more than 2 meters of ice. The Russians are currently conducting sea trials on the newly launched icebreaker Ivan Papanin, which is reportedly capable of carrying cruise missiles. For those not familiar with naval weaponry, a cruise missile easily trumps a 25mm cannon. This past September, the People's Liberation Army Navy Plan of China deployed 3 heavy icebreakers to the Bering Strait Arctic Ocean approaches. For the record, China and Russia recently participated in a joint naval exercise in the Pacific named Operation Ocean 2024. It involved a combined 400 warships and 120 aircraft. At last count, the RCN has taken delivery of 5 of a total of 6 AOPS, with the final ship to be complete next year. However, due to a crippling shortage of trained technicians, the RCN can only put 1 AOPS to sea at a time. There has also been a lot of significant teething troubles with the AOPS. In addition to excessive flooding and contaminated water supplies, the AOPS still cannot deploy with the planned for Cyclone maritime helicopters. Right now, it's got a hangar, it's got a flight deck. That's the easy part, Vice Admiral Topshee told the National Post. The complicated piece is that in order to be able to land that helicopter on the deck, secure it on the deck, and then bring it into the hangar, there's a couple of changes that have to be made. For the record, the AOPS were ordered in 2011. First of the class, HMCS Harry DeWolf, was launched in 2018 and commissioned in 2021. 3 years later, the RCN can still not operate a helicopter from their flight decks, which was an integral part of the ship's design from the outset. However, we are to understand from Vice Admiral Topshee that if hostilities were imminent, somehow the dockyard workers in Halifax and Esquimalt could suddenly transform these AOPS into battle-worthy vessels. They're not intended to be frontline combatants, Vice Admiral Topshee said of the AOPS. They have everything they need for the missions that we anticipate that they'll do. Were we to get into a wartime environment where we felt they could come directly under threat, then there's the capacity to install other weapons in sort of an ad hoc manner, very similar to how you would defend an Army forward operating base.
Colleagues and shipmates, the RCN faces some very serious challenges right now that could mean we fail to meet our force-postured readiness commitments in 2024 and beyond.
It was almost exactly 1 year ago that Vice Admiral Topshee released a very blunt video commentary entitled The State of the Royal Canadian Navy. That message was aimed at his own internal RCN audience, but Topshee's commentary gained widespread media attention for his brutal honesty. Now, just 12 months later, we are to believe that the RCN stands ready to confront Russia and China in the Arctic without the assistance of our allies. That is one hell of a comeback, if only it were true. This has been On Target. I'm Scott Taylor.